PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to PCN. We're excited to bring you some more local stories from Plymouth, Kingston, Duxbury, and Pembroke. Tonight, we take you to the opening game of the Plymouth Pilgrims Baseball League, visit a Revolutionary War reenactment, and we see the Mayflower II sail back into port.
We also take you to Sacred Heart in Kingston as they launch their Sustainable Garden project, and we hear more about the Syrian refugee art exhibit in Plymouth Library.
PCN heads to Pembroke for a parent education event sponsored by Titans Against Drugs, and Health and Wellness takes us to the Kingsbury Club for pool safety information.
PACTV's Government Access Coordinator is here to talk about the importance of local government coverage, but we'll start things off tonight at Sacred Heart's Elementary School. Sustainable gardens seem to be popping up all over, and thank goodness for that. Originally, the Sustainable Garden movement was designed to teach kids from the inner city that don't have regular access to farms and gardens how to grow their own food. Now the movement has made its way to the suburbs, and the Sacred Heart Elementary and Early Childhood Center has embraced the idea. We stopped over on the school's Spring Fun Day for their blessing of the garden.
Welcome. Thank you all for coming to the blessing of Sacred Heart Elementary and Early Childhood Center's Sustainable Organic School Garden. We are here today at Sacred Heart Elementary and Early Childhood Center to bless our school garden, the work of many, and we're really excited that it's part of our Fun Day activities. We have, about 2 years ago, decided that we wanted to have the kids learn more about their outdoor space and also learn more about sustainable organic gardening. We wanted them to know where their food comes from, and we wanted them to perform service in a way that was meaningful to them. So growing and giving away the food in our garden is service that will be meaningful to young children. The kids today bring Lunchables to school, and they're so processed, and there are so many pesticides and chemicals used in food today that we wanted the children to understand what real whole food looks like, tastes like, and how easy it is to grow and to enjoy. This has been a huge community effort. It started with a grant from the Whole Kids Foundation, and quickly the Sheriff's Department, the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department, built our boxes. Goodrich Lumber donated all the materials, DeMello Brothers Landscaping, the Bishop family, and Ground Effects Landscaping. So many different people came together. The Walker family built and designed our drip irrigation system, and our students have been helping plant and weed, and they can't wait to start picking, which will happen in the summer and early fall. There are a lot of people who are in need of food, and that is a growing concern in this area as well as others, but there are many food pantries that have come up. There's a shelter right down the street, Pilgrim Hope, that we hope to give fresh food to. St. Joseph's Food Pantry at St. Joseph's Church in Kingston will receive some of our foodstuffs as well. And we're just hopeful that people who typically can't afford fresh organic food will start to enjoy it and become healthier. In the end, we hope that families will enjoy gardening together as a family activity and start growing organic food at home as well.
Pembroke Titans Against Drugs, also known as PTAD, is always looking for new ways to connect with the community to battle the ever-spreading drug and opioid epidemic, especially in our schools. PTAD reached out to Caron Treatment Centers to give a presentation to parents about ways to communicate with their kids, to really have the hard conversations that can make all the difference when it comes to this deadly addiction problem.
Tonight we just want to bring parents together, get some tips on how to talk to their preteens and teens about potential substance abuse issues or decisions that their children are making or about to be confronted with, and also give parents some information on some of the trends that they may not otherwise know about.
Caron Treatment Centers is one of the largest and oldest addiction treatment facilities in the country. We're actually nearly 60 years in operation. Our main campus is in a place called Wernersville, Pennsylvania, but we have sites in Florida as well. And we really look to, we're a behavioral health care and addiction treatment facility. We're there to help people who are struggling with addiction and really help them to get into recovery and all the resources, provide all the resources that they would need. Tonight's program is called PrEP. It's Prevention, Resources, and Education for Parents, and it's a parent program that we're offering through Caron Treatment Centers. The objectives of tonight's program are to really empower parents to be able to have some information about different drug trends, to really look at what's happening around what children are exposed to in terms of drugs and alcohol, different substance abuse issues. But more importantly, it's to be able to enable them to have courageous conversations about substance abuse. So we'll talk about communication skills, we'll talk about building resilient children, and it's all about trying to keep kids safe.
So with Pembroke Titans Against Drugs, we try to reach out to hit this issue from all different angles in the community. So not just talking to the kids directly or going for in-school formalized education, but also hitting the parents, hitting older kids, brothers and sisters, talking to businesses about some of the effects that substance abuse can have in the community. This is one of those components where hopefully getting some parents together and giving them some information they might not otherwise have or have had time to think about or maybe avoided for one reason or the other.
I think some of the major trends that we're facing right now in terms of what children are exposed to, there's a significant issue around marijuana, and I think if anyone lives in Massachusetts, they hear a lot of news reports about things regarding marijuana, and also the prescription drug epidemic that we're in right now. So that'll be part of the discussion tonight, is just talking about some of the things that we're seeing and some of those national trends and local trends. If anyone wanted more information about Caron Treatment Centers, they could go to www.caron, which is CARON.org.
So our website is titansagainstdrugs.org. We also have a Facebook page that you can find by searching for our name, Pembroke Titans Against Drugs. We're always available. We respond to email through the website or through the Facebook page pretty quickly as well. So anytime someone can lend a hand or donate or help sponsor some of our events, we're appreciative of it. We're all volunteers, 100%. So it all helps.
Great.
The Mayflower 2, a gift from the people of Great Britain to America, will be leaving port for 2 years at the end of this tourism season in December. She will be sorely missed, but the hiatus will be well worth it when she returns in time for the 2020 celebrations. The Mayflower will be undergoing some extensive maintenance by some of the most talented historic shipwrights and artisans in the nation. It will be a costly ordeal, but imperative for maintaining the durability, the economic driving force, and the historical integrity of Plymouth. PCN stopped by for the ship's return to bring you the full story.
The Mayflower is probably the rallying point for Plymouth tourism, in my opinion. But the Mayflower, with those masts sticking up on the waterfront, is the iconic picture of what this town is all about. It is a band of brave people coming from another place and coming here. And the Mayflower is that vehicle.
Well, Mayflower 2 will be leaving Plymouth in early December of this year after a full season with tourists and other people visiting the ship. And she'll be heading to Mystic in early December, and she'll begin another phase, another round of extensive restoration work. And that will be work done on the hull of the ship, planks and frames, and major effort on the ship in terms of restoration. Well, Mayflower 2 is constructed using very authentic period shipmaking methods and technology. So we will continue to do that for the ship, to restore her. So you'll see the work that we carried out in Mystic will be carried out by very, very highly skilled and very accomplished maritime artisans and shipwrights. there, and there'll be, as I said, extensive work. So these maritime artisans and shipwrights really know their stuff.
The overall budget for the campaign is about $12 million. About $7.5 million of that is the actual restoration. And we're also looking to raise significant additional funds for long-term maintenance endowment. Plymouth Plantation is also raising in this larger capital campaign, which is more like a $17 million campaign, money for some other important projects at the museum. But right now, because of the urgency and the timing and needing to get the ship ready to come back here by 2020, our main focus is on raising funds for the ship. We'll be going more public with the campaign and going after a lot of smaller gifts from the community. And in the meantime, people who are interested are more than welcome to contact us or go on our website and make a gift to the ship. We are also hoping for funding, and we've submitted an application to the Plymouth the Community Preservation Commission, and that hopefully we'll get some answers on this fall, and we have put in a request for $2.5 million. So we're hoping that residents of Plymouth raise their voices, who understand how, and they're already doing that for us, who understand the economic value of this ship for our community.
Back in the Revolutionary War days, towns would often have a pole or a tree where people gathered to express their feelings on varying topics of the day. Duxbury had a Liberty Pole where the Battle of Marshfield almost happened, but soldiers fanned out along the town lines, squashing an impending battle between the British and the Patriots. Each year, the Alden House holds a reenactment that highlights the history of the area and the Alden family tree that dates back to the Mayflower. PCN was there to capture the excitement.
We're at the John Alden House historic site, and we are commemorating Duxbury's Revolutionary War era history. They have organized a Liberty Pole Day, which is to draw attention to and to commemorate the events in Duxbury leading up to the war. And my role today was to give a talk explaining just that, relating the history of the protests and the placement of the Liberty Pole and the forcing Tories to recant in front of the Liberty Pole, and lots of interesting history relating to that era, and of course all building up to what I refer to as the almost Battle of Marshfield, which is when minute companies and militia from Duxbury, Plymouth, Kingston, and surrounding towns kind of descended on Marshfield, where there was a garrison of Redcoats in Marshfield. Shots were not fired, but the Redcoats got away. They got on ships and they got back to Boston, but it was very nearly shots fired here in Marshfield. So I think it's great to commemorate different eras of our history. The Revolutionary War era is something that gets a lot of attention in Concord and Lexington, but not so much down this way. And you know, fascinating and tumultuous things were going on in Plymouth County and in this region during the Revolutionary War era that deserve attention. So I think it's great that they're drawing attention to that.
Well, I know we had some wooden muskets, and kids could come and drill and practice with the muskets. You know, we cooked a lunch. We cooked some boiled beef and potatoes and cabbage, and made a prototypical sort of field lunch for the militia. This was a nice setting. It's nice to have an actual real historical event to model things around. Nice to have something to actually fight over. As a reenactor, it's always nice to have a goal, and it worked well.
This is, you know, public history. This is what we do. And I think today the event was very successful, and I think we succeeded in fulfilling our part of our mission, which is educating the public about the American Revolutionary War and the events leading up to it. You know, the militia did their demonstration, the Redcoats did their demonstration. The Redcoats had a surgeon with them who had his table laid out with all his medical instruments and medicines. And those are always big crowd pleasers at living history events. I think it's probably the most fun I've had in a while at a living history event. You know, you do a lot of them, you get kind of burnt out over a while, and this was something special, you know, to hold a recreation of something that actually happened on that location. Even though we took a little bit of liberty with it, it was still quite enjoyable. And we're, again, educating the public about the location as well as the events that happened here. And I think that was a great thing.
It's baseball season again in Plymouth, so if you're looking to catch some potential future major leaguers, they play right here in town at Forges Field, and we were there for their season opener. It should be noted that these players are coming from colleges all over the country, so we spoke with a couple of the team's newest recruits to find out how they prepare for a summer of baseball in a place they've never been before.
The calendar may not have officially said summer yet, but that didn't matter much to these boys of summer who showed up here in Plymouth for their first game of the season. Now entering their fourth year in the New England Collegiate Baseball League, the Plymouth Pilgrims kicked off their 2016 campaign at home at Forges Field on a gorgeous sunny evening, and the crowd seemed to grow as the game went on. And if the weather, sights, and sounds weren't enough, they even had a bunch of kids singing the Star-Spangled Banner to make it official.
A lot of firsts going on tonight. Not only is it the first game of the season, it's the first time a lot of these guys are using wooden bats coming from the NCAA where they use aluminum bats, and it's also the first time some of these guys have even been in the state of Massachusetts.
The Pilgrims' right field bullpen alone features talent from Indiana, North Carolina, Tennessee, and California, just to name a few states. And for those who may not know, these are not paid professional ball players. They're coming from the top collegiate baseball programs all over the country to get regular repetitions, stay in playing shape, and showcase themselves for Major League Scouts. Oh, and most of them have never played on the same team before.
We have all walks of life here, guys from the middle of the U.S. all the way coast to coast, just all different kinds of strategies in different places, different kinds of baseball trying to get together.
It's more a bunch of guys coming together from different styles, so everyone's trying to fit together and play as one team instead of from their own individual team. And plus we're all meeting each other for the first time, so we haven't really clicked at all yet.
And while the team figures out how to gel, the folks in the stands are just happy to see some good quality baseball. There's a pretty good chance that many of these players could be playing professional ball by this time next summer.
We are right up there with the Cape Cod League. Okay, the Cape Cod Baseball League and us are the two top summer collegiate leagues for summer baseball. A lot of these kids will get, there'll be a few that'll probably be signed.
The league features 13 teams from all over New England. For the Pilgrims' home opener, they were playing the Winnipesaukee Muskrats out of New Hampshire. The structure of the season alone prepares the players for the potential eventuality of how life will be playing minor league baseball.
Well, I feel like it's kind of a precursor. I mean, you got to come out here and you're sort of on your own, so you got to figure out what your routine's going to be, how you're going to get to the field, when you're going to get here, how you're going to stretch, and then all the traveling is every day you're going to a different place, so it's kind of getting used to that kind of lifestyle.
With a 45-game season, the players savor the opportunity to keep getting better and grow from the experience.
Trying to fine-tune some mechanics, work on locating my fastball a little bit, obviously making my off-speed a little sharper, but just the experience, I think, in general will really help for next season.
Reporting from the Rock at Forges Field, I'm Brian Sullivan, PACTV Community News.
Batting fifth, playing left field, number 15 from Texas State.
During the month of June, the Plymouth Public Library has displayed the artwork of 4 high school-age students from the South Shore depicting Syrian refugees. Working with art instructor Terry Cole out of her home studio, these young artists captured the pain and struggle of the Syrian refugee crisis with their sketches and paintings. The exhibit, which is entitled Heart for Compassion, is on display to raise awareness of the struggle and hardships other human beings are enduring every day in a country halfway around the world.
The latest art exhibit on display at the Plymouth Public Library features many artists that aren't even old enough to vote yet. However, upon closer inspection, these works appear to have been crafted by artists who are wise beyond their years. The idea for the Heart for Compassion exhibit took shape at Terry Cole's Kitchen Table Art Studio, where she's been teaching a homeschool class for several years.
This past school year, the refugee crisis was unfolding before our eyes on television. And I asked the girls, would you be interested in learning how to draw real humans in real situations instead of glossy models? And they all said yes. Then I asked their parents for permission because it's a rather serious subject to do for a whole year, and all their parents got behind us as well.
Getting the photos for the students to use as their subjects was no easy feat, but having connections with the Associated Press proved to be a pretty noteworthy asset.
I have a background working for the Associated Press as an infographics lady, my husband as well as a foreign correspondent, and we were in the area where the refugees were making their trek through Europe for 15 years. And I thought, what better photographs than the photographs that the Associated Press has taken to be our reference? But I knew I would need permission. So I went to the photo editor in New York, the photo editor in London, and I asked permission to use their incredible photographs in the heat of it all, and promised that we wouldn't use them for resale or any personal profit, but just to bring awareness to the American people of this humanitarian crisis that's going on.
The students meet with Cole for their 3-hour art sessions once every other week. And what we're seeing on display is the work that the young artists started working on at the beginning of the school year. In that time, they created roughly 24 pieces. But what's on display here are the works of art that the students wanted to showcase.
The first one that I did of the feet, I wanted to show what exactly it was the refugees were going through, and I felt that showing, because their feet are just like bandaged, they're covered in blisters, they don't have proper shoes. So I felt that represented just a little bit of what they were going through, just a little bit.
When I looked at him, in the picture, his eyes were out of focus. And something about that really touched me because you can just see the sadness on his face, and the eyes, which I would say are the most expressive part of the person, weren't even there. And you could just feel how broken he was, and just being on the other side of that fence, and just thinking about, like, I don't know, he could have had a family on the other side or a little child standing next to him, and he had nowhere to go. And so it just really speaks to what a tragedy all of that was with the refugee crisis, and still is, where these people just have to get up and leave, and everything they've ever known is back home, but it's so bad that they don't even hesitate to just get up and walk. And I don't know, it broke my heart, but at the same time, it made me want to tell his story, because that's what I want people to realize, is that they're broken and hurting and they need a voice. And so if we don't speak for them, I don't know who will.
Not to be forgotten in all of this is Terry Cole's own artwork, which is also on display. And if you haven't seen it yet, there's still time, because the artwork will be on display at least through the month of June. Reporting from the Plymouth Public Library, I'm Brian Sullivan for PCN. Health and Wellness brings us pool safety information from the Kingsbury Club in Kingston.
Hi, this is Lynn Lapis with your PCN Health and Wellness segment, and today we're going to talk about pool safety. When you're coming to the pool this summer, remember your #1 focus should be your kids in the water. Whether you're in the water with them or sitting right by the side, we want the parents to know that you are your child's #1 defense. Even though there's lifeguards at the pool, they're responsible for so many people, so many kids, that we still want the parents to be responsible for their own children. Turning away from your kids to look at your phone, to answer a phone call, or to grab a towel could be too long. Make sure you're always prepared ahead of time when you leave your house and you have everything with you, so you can just keep your eyes on your kids the whole time. The second most important thing parents can do is enroll your children in swim lessons. At any age, it is important to learn how to swim and how to help themselves in any situation that may come about. You want to keep taking swim lessons to get better at this skill. This is an important skill to have. If you are here at the pool for a while, you want to make sure you have sunscreen, you keep applying it, you keep drinking water, you get under shade as much as possible. A lot of kids are going to try to keep up with their friends and keep swimming for the entire length that maybe their older brother is. So parents want to keep an eye on those little guys and make sure that they keep reapplying their sunscreen, keep drinking water, and giving them breaks. The other thing to think about for pool safety is what happens out on the deck. Even though you may be on cement or concrete, it does get wet and it gets very slippery. We do have kids that get skinned knees and skinned elbows, and that is the rule why you don't want your children to run, just for safety or falling in the pool too. Thanks for watching. This has been your PCN Health and Wellness segment.
Today, we meet another PACTV staff member here on set, and it is David Antoine, who is our Government Access Coordinator. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Julie. It's nice to be here.
Nice to have you on this side of the camera.
Yes,
Can you tell us a little bit about you, how long you've been with PACTV, what your background is, and how you got to where you are?
You can say that I've been here since 2 presidential administrations, so I've been here going on about 12 years.
Wow.
11 years as a Government Access Coordinator.
Okay.
It's been quite a surreal ride, but I can't do my job without the hard work of everyone else here too.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's been really great.
Okay, now did you study in school for this?
I started out as a volunteer back in 8th grade. Actually, if you even want to go further back, I was in 5th grade, and I volunteered for my local public access station, and I was the star of a compost PSA. That was the days of rat hair hairstyles. So I've tried to long forget that memory. But then I started doing it in 8th grade and went all the way through at high school. And I was a microphone runner. And
what is a microphone runner?
Basically what would happen is you'd have someone in the audience who wants to speak. And this is when they didn't have a podium.
Yep.
So coincidentally, it'd be at government meetings and school committee meetings. And I'd be running the microphone up to someone who would air their issue out.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
So you've been in TV a long time?
I have, yes.
Did you go to college for this?
I did. Salem State. Which had a communications program.
Yep.
But then I ended up volunteering at the local public access station down there. And coincidentally, I became good friends with a guy named Dave Gauthier, who taught classes at Salem State. And he helped get me my job here.
At PACTV.
They called him and he spoke glowingly about me. So years ago at a work conference in Chicago, I coincidentally sat next to him and I thanked him.
Wow.
Yeah, good man.
Goes around in full circles.
It certainly does.
So you're in charge of all 4 towns that we cover.
Yes, I am.
And all the government meetings for them.
Yes.
So about how many meetings a month do we cover?
It depends on the season. When you're looking at a town meeting season, which is really like late August through October,
Yep.
You can cover as many as 8 to 10 meetings a week.
Wow.
As we're segueing into summer, things are going to start to quiet down a bit. So we'll be averaging probably about 3 to 4 meetings. But that's not to say we're not going to be busy.
Right.
We certainly will be.
Right. And most of the meetings are covered live?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And people can find out where to watch meetings by going to our website.
Yep.
Correct?
www.pactv.org.
Okay. Now tell me a little bit about the other types of government shows that we have here at PACTV, not the shows that we do out at the town halls or in the communities, but actually are filmed here. I know we have a lot of informational governmental shows.
Government access, or I should just say government in general, is a very broad term.
Okay.
It's not just limited to the meetings you see on TV with like a city council or a board of selectmen.
Yep.
It's all sorts of organizations and agencies. You have things like the Council on Aging.
Yep.
And we have 4 shows produced by all of our councils on aging.
Right, all 4 towns have
Yes,
a show.
Yes.
Just for the Council on
They've
Aging.
been great.
Yeah, they're terrific directors.
And
Yeah.
I believe Pembroke just finished their 6th episode of Elder Savvy.
Good, with our new
pretty
Anna
interesting.
series.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we also have shows with our state representatives.
Yeah.
Thomas Coulter and Josh Cutler have done shows here.
Now, what types of issues do they talk about?
It's anything that's timely,
Okay.
anything that's very contemporary. More often than not, it's usually a profile of someone in the state.
Okay.
Someone who works at the state agency. We've had people who have been state auditors. We've had people who work for the governor's office. They
Yep.
all come down here.
Right.
And it's been really, really interesting. Some of them tackle more timely subjects, such as the opioid crisis.
Yes.
Which is actually bringing us to a new show we're going to be producing, starting with the sheriff and the district attorney.
Yeah.
And we're going to be shooting that next week.
And they're going to do the show together?
Together, yes.
Wow.
It's such a huge crisis that it's something that's very timely.
Right. Now, you have a few of the town planners also?
We do. A great guy by the name of Thomas Bott.
Yeah.
Kingston Town Planner. He has something called the Kingston Master Plan.
Yeah.
Which was a plan that he worked on for years. And he produces a show, a limited series called Mapping the Master Plan.
Uh-huh.
I believe he's at about 8 episodes. And Tom has plans to come back to produce more.
And so he's actually explaining the master plan of Kingston.
Yeah. With all
how it's
with all people who are involved with the plan.
That's
people
interesting.
That are on the committees, people who are in town.
Yep.
It's been very unique.
And John Buckley is here a lot, and he's been
Yes.
here for a long time.
Yes.
And he's our Register of Deeds.
Yep. He's actually going to be here tomorrow.
And what is his show about?
That is Register's Report. He has taped 32 episodes. His 33rd episode will be tomorrow. And that profiles things that happen in Plymouth County. What happens is he opens up with just notable statistics and records for the area. And then notable land records. He talks a lot about Rocky Marciano, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And then he also profiles people who work in the county. It's very informative and very educational in terms of real estate and what people need to expect.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of interesting things. So if people need to get in touch with you, they just contact you?
Yep, they can call me. My phone number is 508-830-6999. My email is dave@pactv.org. And I also want to talk about our social media presence.
Okay.
We've been beefing it up over the past few years. And we have a Twitter account, PACTV Government Access.
Okay.
Government is shortened to GOVT.
Okay.
But we hashtag everything. We post when meetings are coming up. And we also retweet a lot of things.
Super.
Which is
so you're very involved.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for watching this week. Check out PACTV.org for links to each story and for replay times on the channel. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. See you next week for more PACTV Community News.